Welcome to Fight Club 24/7. My name's John Rashman. Right, let's get straight into it. Joyce lost his first professional fight on Saturday against Zhang Zhang. Right. Again, there's been a massive overreaction. Right? Massive overreaction. This time last week, Joyce was a juggernaut. He could beat Tyson Fury. He would beat Usyk. He can't get knocked out. He can't get hurt. He's the toughest heavyweight in the world. Today, Deontay Wilder knocks him out in one round and he's not a top 10 heavyweight. It's just ridiculous, right? We've got to put things into perspective. He fought a 6'6" southpaw and Olympic Games silver medalist. He didn't fight a mug or a journeyman. This was always going to be a 50-50 fight. Yes, a lot of us overlooked Zhang, right? Including myself. I did say on my Instagram last week, I had the more the fight came, the more the fight approached, I thought it was a 50-50 fight. And if Joyce does come in recklessly, he'll get stopped. I did say that. But I also said in my prediction that I expect it to be a hard fight and Joyce may get hurt. But I thought later on in the fight, like most of us, thought his engine and his toughness would be too much and he'd get the 40-year-old man out of there. It didn't prove to be the case, right? Straight away, we were all watching it. He was getting hit with a straight left, right? Everyone knows you can't keep your head on centre line. And what that means is when you're throwing punches, you can't keep your head there, right? Or when someone's throwing a punch at you, you've got to slip it. You've got to move. So if you throw a punch, you move your head. You don't throw a punch and you stay there because you're a target, right? So when you throw your right hand, you move, you dip. You get your head off centre line. Joyce wasn't doing that. He just walked forward like he always does, right? And was getting pinged and pinged with the left hand. But the thing that I don't understand is, what did you expect from Joyce? We know that's how he fights. He's durable, he's tough, he's got an engine. He's not a Floyd Mayweather, right? That he bludgeons you into submission. That's what he does, right? When he fought Dubois, he fought cleverly, he fought smarter. Even though he was pushing forward with the pace, he was behind the jab and he was careful and the jab was popping off. With Zhang, there was no jab. Zhang took that away from him and he was just literally plodding forward and just getting banged with the left hand, right? So we saw what happened. But I'm not looking at the fight thinking he got absolutely outclassed and there's no way he can win a rematch. I think he'll win a rematch, Joyce. I really do. This wasn't a Calzaghe Lacey, right, where he lost every minute of every round, or a Hatter in the Mayweather or an AJ Usyk where you fight the best fighter in the world and go, you know what, I've given it my best. There's nothing I can do. The guy's just too good. It wasn't that. This isn't really a positive because there's not really any positives you can take from it, but what's not the worst negative in the world is he made that many mistakes that you can correct that. You can look at the footage and you can see that his head wasn't on centre line. You can see that he did come in too light. You can see that he was just rushing forward with no regard what was coming back, right? So you can look at that, dissect it, and make the improvements. There's absolutely no doubt about that. Right, if this fight goes into the second half of the fight, Zhang is in a lot of trouble. He looked like he was feeling the pace. I messaged my mate when it got to the fifth round saying Joyce will take over, and it did look like he was putting the pressure on. You're thinking this is what Joyce does. Right, he gets hurt, he gets hit, he's a juggernaut, he comes back, and then he puts the pressure on. But the eye closed. Right, that's it. The fight wasn't stopped on a knockout. It wasn't like every time he got hit, he was all over the place and he got battered from pillar to post, right? The eye closed. That's going to make a big difference. And he got wobbled, I think it was in the second or third round, took a big left hand. And since then, he just looked like he was concussed. Like it didn't seem like he was reacting to anything. He just came forward, right? So when you're looking at that, there's a lot of improvements he can make. And as I say, I think he'll win the rematch. I really do. Why would you not take the rematch? Right? People are saying he should avoid Zhang and he shouldn't fight him again. Why not? You've got to understand the interim belt, the WBO interim belt was on the line. So that plays a massive factor. If that wasn't on the line, right, then maybe he might not have took the rematch, right? Or maybe he would have. But with that title, that gives you a guaranteed shot at the champion. So you want to get that belt back. It's an interim WBO belt. It means you're mandatory for the champion, which is Usyk. So why wouldn't you want to get it back? He's 37. Who's he going to fight? What's the point of him fighting Dillian Whyte for what? Go and get that belt back, and then you're back in the game. And I think it's a fight I want to see. The story's there now, right? And it's a 50-50 fight. I'm sick of seeing fighters saying, oh, his manager should be sacked. It was the wrong matchmaking. They shouldn't have took this fight. That's the poison we want out of boxing. It's a cancer that's spread in every division. What do you mean he shouldn't have took the fight? If you fight 50-50 fights, there's a good chance you'll get beat, right? Apart from Floyd Mayweather, I don't care who you are, right? If your record is 30-0 and 40-0, you ain't having 50-50 fights, right? It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. If you have 50-50 fights, there's a good chance you can get beat. We want to see it. I commend Joyce for taking it. He never needed to take a risk like Zhang. He didn't have to do that at all. Right, but he did, and that's what we want to see. That's the example that we want to see. We want to see 50-50 fights. I was on the edge of my seat. It was captivating. It was sexy. It was drama. We didn't need tables being thrown. We didn't need tempers being flared. These guys came in. They were credit to the sport. We knew we were going to get a battle, a war. That's what we all predicted, and that's what we got. And that's what happens when you get 50-50 fights. We want to see that. So he got beat. So what? Just because he got beat off Zhang doesn't mean he can't beat Wilder. The amount of people that are saying, oh, we can't beat Wilder and he can't beat this one. It's totally different. Boxing doesn't work like that. Who's going to want to fight Zhang? You put Deontay Wilder in with Zhang. See how he gets on with that left hand straight in his face. I keep hearing Wilder will knock him out. Like Wilder's turned into Muhammad Ali, Sonny Liston, Floyd Mayweather. All into one. It's just unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. Right? He lost against a 6'6" southpaw. Right? A dangerous fighter. So what? Doesn't mean he can't beat AJ. Doesn't mean he can't beat Wilder. It's a different fight. Just like AJ lost to Usyk doesn't mean he can't beat Wilder. It's different fight styles makes fights. Styles makes fights. Right? And that matchup, Zhang, is a terrible matchup for any heavyweight. He's a 6'6" southpaw who can bang, who's got fast hands. No one's having an easy night with him, right? So Joyce didn't look great, right? Okay, fine. Go back to the drawing board, correct the mistakes, because you are looking at what the tactics were. These guys aren't stupid. His training team, Ismail Salas, I believe his name is. They aren't stupid. They would have had southpaw training, right? They wouldn't have just gone in there and not prepared, but we all know that saying, everyone has a plan till they get punched in the head. And he got rocked early on. People think boxers are like superhuman. It doesn't affect them. He got banged by a 6'6" heavyweight. Of course, things went out the window then. You could see and the eye was closing. So he gambled and he was trying to put the pressure on and put the volume on. And you could see that he was trying to up the intensity. But he did what Joe Joyce did. He took the shots. He didn't go down. Right? Okay, he was wobbled at one point, but it's not like every shot was affecting him. You know, I want to see the rematch. I genuinely believe that he approaches a rematch differently, right? You're careful of the backhand and you get it to the later rounds. That's where Joe Joyce thrives. That's where he lives. That's his world. Unfortunately, he never got there because the eye was closed. He didn't get stopped by a punch or was knocked out. The eye was closed, right? So this idea that he can't win the rematch and it was just an utter dominance, it wasn't, right? It was a competitive fight which he took shots and he got beat. Yes, there's a case to say he was losing almost every round. It's hard to give him a round, right? But they were close. You know, he was putting the pressure on Zhang. So in the rematch, you just correct those mistakes. It's easier said than done, but you can look at it as a whole, as a trainer, and you can see the mistakes he made, right? So he gets focused, goes back to the drawing board. He can win this fight. There's absolutely no doubt about it, right? The judge that had Zhang losing the fight and Joyce winning the fight, oh my God, what are you doing? I mean, I'm from the UK and I'm ashamed of us in how we've turned out in regards to judges. I'm ashamed. We've turned into how Germany used to be, how Italy used to be, and even America to an extent. Even America's not as bad as us now. The hometown decisions, it's disgusting. Whoever that judge was needs investigating. Not just an internal investigation by the British. not just an internal investigation by the British Boxing Board of Control, because we don't know what's going on with that. He can get his mate in, have a cup of tea with him and say that was an investigation. We don't know, right? It has to be investigated, because you can't give Joyce, you can't say Joyce was ahead in that fight. That's just a joke. It's an utter joke. You know, you might give him a round or two, but to say he was up, I mean, what we were heading into, then what happens if it did go to points? You're going to get done on it. Zhang was going to get done on a decision. This guy's got family. This guy's got a family. He's got bills to pay. And you've got judges repeatedly doing this. Get him investigated. Why? What is the reason for them to give Joyce the upper hand? What is it? What's the reason? That's what we need to know. That's what needs investigating, because it keeps happening. And as someone from the UK, I'm ashamed of us and how we've turned out in regards to judging. It's utter disgraceful. It's shameful. I don't want to see it. But I thought it was the event on Saturday night. I thought it was decent. It was good. You know, I thought it lived up to what we thought. Okay, it wasn't a satisfactory ending, but it was violence, wasn't it? You were on the edge of your seat. And I love watching Joyce fight. Right? He's not Floyd Mayweather. Right, get that out your head. He ain't going to produce a technical display of the sweet science, right? He ain't going to do that. I love watching Joyce because I want to see how much damage he can take and how much he can inflict on his opponent. That's why I tune in to watch Joyce. I don't tune in to think he's Rigondeaux or Mayweather. You know what you're going to get. He's sloppy, he's awkward, he looks slow, but he's effective. He's got a good jab. He's got decent hand speed to an extent. I think people may think he's slow, but his timing is decent. He's deceptive, right? And I love watching him fight. I want to see the Wilder fight. I would love to see if he can take Wilder's right hand, right? And this idea that Deontay Wilder will knock him out in the round, I just don't understand it. People seem to think that when Deontay Wilder fights, it's just the right hand. What about what the opponent brings? What's he going to do if Joyce backs him up? If Joyce relentlessly puts his combinations together? If it goes past the 5th round, what's he going to do then? People say I'm a Wilder hater. I'm not, right? But this guy, if you look until his, 35th fight, then fighting him with a pulse. How many top 10 fighters has Deontay Wilder fought? Tell me. He's fought Tyson Fury 3 times. He's hardly won a round. Yes, the last fight, unbelievable. It'll go down in boxing folklore. Great fight. And he converted me. I was always a fan because I love watching him fight. He's exciting. But the chin and the way he just kept coming back, how can you not respect that? Right? But Deontay Wilder was there to be beat. I mean, overnight he's turned into, like I say, Muhammad Ali and bloody Floyd Mayweather rolled into one. It's unbelievable. He beat Helenius. He knocked him out. Okay, let's see him fight Ruiz. Let's see him fight Joyce. Let's see him fight Otto Wallin even. Let's see these fights. Let's see if he gets them out of there. Right? Because I need to see him consistently. I want to see him fight top 10 fighters because I believe Deontay Wilder gets beat. Any fighter can beat Deontay Wilder. He's there to be beat. Yes, he can beat any man because he's proved he's got the equalizer, right? And you have to appreciate that. But he's there to be beat, right? And I think Joyce would beat him, right? The idea that he's just going to get knocked out in the round, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Just all of a sudden, these Deontay Wilder fans, it's just unbelievable. They say I hate on him. I don't hate on him at all. I respect him. He's a great fighter. He's an exciting fighter. When he fights, I watch, right? But his boxing skill, it leads a lot to be desired. You know, you get him past the 6th round, he tires, he gasses, right? And that's why we want to see these fights. But I want to see the rematch. I want to see the Zhang rematch. I think he can win that fight. I think it's a big overreaction. He got beat. It's a 50-50 fight. It happens. So what? Right, let me know what you think. Do you think Joyce can win the rematch? Do you think the tactics were all wrong? Like, comment, subscribe, let me know.